Oops.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another episode of How to Speak Maintenance. My name is Jason Fein. I'm the Senior Vice President of Maintenance at Windsor. And with me is Becca Ramati, who is the Vice President of the Texas Apartment Association Education Foundation. I stumble on that every single time.
Every time. Hi,
Every
Jason.
time. I'll get it one of these days. Well, with us today is Wade Nauman with Greystar. He's a Senior Community Manager. So welcome, Wade.
Hello. Thank you
Would you
for having
mind
me
telling
today.
our, yeah, anytime. Would you mind talking to our audience about who you are and what you're working on?
Yeah, of course. Well, again, my name is Wade Nauman. I'm a senior community manager here with Greystar in Austin. I've been in the industry for right about 10 years now, Greystar for 5. Currently, right now, I am working on a newly set project in East Austin, so town-owned community, and trying to get that off the ground and get that working. So it's going pretty good.
It's awesome. It's a lease up. Is that what you were talking about earlier?
Yes. Hmm.
That's great. That's one of the toughest jobs I've ever had was working at a lease up.
And
Yeah, this
Wade,
is my third one, so it's going pretty good.
you're a specialist. Can we also ask how you got into the industry?
Yeah.
Yeah, like most people in my position, started as leasing. So took a part-time leasing professional job up in Dallas, and from there just kind of worked my way up, and moved to Austin back in 2020, and came over as leasing, moved up to an assistant, came into Greystar as assistant, and then shortly after that, about 6 months later, they promoted me to a community manager, and then just gone from property to property since then.
Awesome.
It's great. And Becca, wasn't he didn't he receive an award recently as well?
He did receive an award. Thank you, Jason.
Yeah.
Wade was the 2026 TAA Property Manager of the Year, which is no small feat. So, congratulations on that, Wade, and thanks for joining us today.
Yes, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Definitely. So today we wanted to kind of take a conversation from last month's episode about what does successful look like, what does good look like, and how it might differ from the perspective of a maintenance supervisor to a community manager. So we're really going to kind of just go through the same questions we asked our Chris Badul last month, and we're going to be able to kind of dive in and see from your perspective exactly what successful looks like. So I'll jump right into it. What is good? When I say, hey, good work, what does that mean to you?
Doing things right the first time and quality is really my the first thing that comes to my head.
Yeah, I mean, at a lease up, speed might actually kind of hurt you, right? You were talking about at a lease up how if you speed through it and reputation's everything and it's all brand new finishes, you might actually kind of ruin your reputation, correct?
Yeah, a little bit. So when you go into the lease up, especially our property here, there's always two different perspectives, right? Obviously, us here in the office, we want to make sure that everything's perfect. We want when these people move into their brand new home, like no one's lived there before. We want to make sure that it's just 100% perfect, no issues whatsoever. But then on the opposite side, we're answering to construction, we're answering to our clients, and obviously they're ready just to get them done and turn them and get them out of their hands and into ours. And if you rush that process, you may miss some things. And at the end of the day, once we accept those units, they're ours. So if we miss a big issue in the apartment, let's say there was a leak that we didn't find or an issue with the AC, and we accept that from construction, that could be financially on us to repair at that point. So yeah, most things are covered under warranty to be able to get that covered, but then at that point it's just a process when you want to take your time and really ensure that this is something that we're really going to put our name on.
That's a good point. I mean, from a Chris's perspective and other maintenance supervisors' perspective, I mean, there's so many things that are going on a daily basis between turns and curb appeal and service requests that they might sacrifice quality for speed. Where, like you're saying, you need that quality because it's
Mm-hmm.
a lease up. And you know what? Even beyond just being a lease up, I mean, if it's just a stabilized asset, you need to make sure quality's there as well. Correct?
Yeah, and then too, it's also ensuring that you're prioritizing your time to maybe the work orders that need that little bit extra time, right? So obviously you're going to want to spend longer time fixing an AC to make sure it's done correctly, and that's when I go back earlier saying do it right the first time, because if you don't do a great job the first time or you kind of cut some corners, it's not going to be a good experience in the long run, because the resident's still going to have some issues. They're still going to put on that work order. And then, yes, reputation goes down because now they're frustrated. And then, but also too, like I was kind of saying earlier, okay, great. This apartment, right? It just needs a quick touch up clean, go in, we'll do the floors real quick, wipe down the counters. Everything is perfect. Our vendors have already been in there. We just want to make sure it's good. But something like that doesn't have to take an hour. It's something you run in, 15, 20 minutes just to do a spot check on things. So it's ensuring that you're prioritizing the bigger jobs to ensure that you have the time to get those taken care of to where you can do your best job for them.
Sure. I mean, do you think you would agree that that's part of our issue, is the different competing definitions of what good work is from?
Yeah, I mean, I can agree with that, but also too, it's I did watch the episode from last month, and these guys, they come in and they just want to prove themselves. They want to make sure that they are doing the best job possible. And when you switch that mindset of like, okay, great, you're service tech, switching from a service supervisor, you have to prioritize what's gonna matter the most, I guess, right? Or what's going to make the best impact, rather than just ensuring that you're spending the same amount of time on every single work order. It's just crucial to ensure that you're prioritizing the jobs that are could cause more issues in the long run, right? It's always preparing for, I wouldn't say preparing for the worst, but trying to be proactive to ensure that there's not going to be a bigger issue in the future.
Sure. I'll admit it. When I was a maintenance tech on site, I was trying to bust out 20 service requests before lunch. And so speed, I was rewarded for the speed and being able to accomplish a lot of tasks. So between you and your community maintenance supervisor, how do you make sure that your maintenance team understands what the expectations are and what you and your community maintenance supervisor would like from the team?
Yeah. So every day we have a huddle in the morning. We talk about what we're doing for the day. We set those expectations. We pull the work orders. We also talk about kind of the things that are pending with construction, since we are a lease up. But previously on stabilized deals as well, like still have those meetings to ensure that we're all on the same page for the day. If we, had some emergency stuff that came through overnight, those are the very first things that we're addressing if they were not addressed the night before. But I'm very much a goal-oriented person. I will set those expectations from the very beginning, even from my newest maintenance team member that I hired that's probably never been in the industry before, to even my seasoned people. Like, everyone gets the same amount of time. Everyone understands that, hey, these are expectations that were set forth, and that's how we go with it.
That's good. That's good that you have those meetings. It's important to be able to make sure that you're all level setting. I mean, if you're going into a week where you have 10 move outs and you've had 3 that you're carrying over from the previous week, it can get a little hairy, and that's when people might want to try to sacrifice quality and just get speed and quantity up. So
Yeah. And then too, like having those meetings as well is very crucial, especially for the office team, because if we don't know what's going on, and residents are calling us asking questions, then it becomes a roadblock, right? Because then we have to stop and ask maintenance at that point, and it doesn't, it's not very fluid. It doesn't show that we are a team, or that we know what we're doing. So, or not know what we're doing, but that we're not communicating. So it's crucial that the maintenance team in the morning, lets our staff know, like, hey, this has come up, this is an issue. And even here on, the new lease up, before we turned some units, they were like, okay, well, maybe, because, everyone's switching to those electronic door locks now. It's like, hey, in these few units, like, y'all can't show these today because the door lock may not be 100% working. So, or the batteries are dead or something like that. So if we don't know that, and let's say we go on a tour and we try to go knock on that door, open that door, and it doesn't work, then that just doesn't create a good experience for our prospects. So even to the smallest things.
do you let me ask you a question. Do you have KPIs, or you grade your maintenance teams on speed, or let's just work on the service requests? Is it speed or is it quality?
So to be honest, so for the KPIs, it's typically more about quality, because with the KPIs that we measure them on is through Kingsley. So
Okay.
it's the reviews that come through from the residents of how well the work order went, as well as, so when they get a Kingsley review, they get an overall survey, they get their work order survey, they get their move-in survey. So those are the things that really grade on, and obviously when those surveys come back, that's when I look at them and like, okay, what could we have done better, or hey guys, like y'all did a great job with this one, there was no issues with it. So it's graded typically through Kingsley.
It's good because I've seen companies where it's, are you completing your service requests within 48 hours, right? And that's what
Oh,
we're.
well, I will say that. I'm sorry. Yes, that is an expectation with Greystar. Yes. If a work order is submitted, it is expected to be completed within 48 hours.
But it's good to have
So,
the Kingsley portion in there as well, right? So then
yeah,
that.
100%. Yeah, my mind has been so focused on resident experience these last couple months that is like, oh yes, okay, Kingsley, let's make sure that's good. But yeah, expectation is 48 hours with, within reason though. Obviously, if we have to order a part or a vendor has to come and actually fix things, we'll just keep in communication with the resident and to ensure that they understand what's going on with the process. But yeah, so
Well,
48 hours is typical standard.
and 48 hours is very different, Jason, than before lunch. So, there's time there.
Yeah,
It is. Yeah,
definitely time.
definitely. Is there any training that you give to your maintenance employees when they first start with the company as a maintenance employee to make sure that standard is clearly outlined, or is that just something that's kind of brought up in the meetings, the weekly meetings with your team?
A little bit of both. So well right now it's a great example. So we have been sending my service tech. We've actually been sending him out to a couple of properties this last couple of months to kind of help them get things together. Maybe do some cleaning or help to get caught up on service requests because we don't have a lot of residents here. So I want to make sure that his time is being used appropriately. So he actually spent the last 2 days at another property here in Austin, and he came back today and he's like, oh my gosh, I just learned so much. And he got to spend time with other supervisors and other regionals and other community managers that was there helping as well. So there is some really good on the job training. But then also too, we do have like our orientations that we take to Greystar, working very closely with the service supervisor here on site. Our maintenance supervisor, our regional maintenance supervisor also, it's a very, he's also very involved as well. They have their monthly service supervisor meetings. So it's yes, we have a lot of different avenues. So it's definitely a good blend of training for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So you talked about your regional maintenance team as well. Do they come in and help support and meet with your team and give training from time to time?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, no, they're very, very supportive. Anytime we ever need anything, they're right there to respond to us. With Greystar, we do also have like a yearly inspection that they perform on the property. That they dive into every aspect of the property from, capital X to how the shop's running to balconies, ACs, and everything like that. So no, they're very supportive in that aspect. Anytime I've ever reached out to him on an issue, it's immediate response. It's right there. It's giving me the support that I need. So we're very blessed to have that for sure.
It's good. How often do you meet with your supervisor to level set? And I know you said you meet with the team as a group and do your huddles. Like, do you have one-on-ones with your supervisor to kind of make sure that you guys are both on the same page?
Yes, if not once a day, multiple times a day. So he's with me quite a lot. So it's me and him basically communicate with construction almost every single day. So yeah, he's definitely my right hand man when it comes to the property. So it's nice to have. So yeah, even after work, we're constantly texting about issues and trying to make sure that we have a good game plan going forward. So because he's very much he's definitely one of those guys. He really thinks that his work is what's going to set him apart from other people. So, and what I like about him though is like, yes, he's quick, but also too, he doesn't sacrifice quality. So that was one of the things that why I hired him was for that reason, because that's my mindset as well. So.
Do you go walk vacant apartments with your maintenance supervisor?
Yes, a lot. Especially like when we're turning units from construction, we go take a look at them. About once a week, I do pull like a handful of vacants. Just not to be mean to him, but I just pull a couple. Like, hey, let's go walk these and see what they look like. So he definitely stays on his toes a little bit. But no, yeah, we definitely go and walk them. I try to get out of the office and get on the property to make sure that I have a good understanding of what's going on.
Good, because I think that's vital to the success of the property is the office team getting out and walking vacants or spending time with the maintenance team to be able to make sure that we're seeing the same thing and we're talking the same language. So it's always a good example. So do you just personal question. Do you walk all the mechanical spaces too, or is it just you walk vacants and common areas?
I'll go walk the mechanical things, but I couldn't
You're
really
like,
couldn't answer. If you asked me to find something, I'd be like, "That's I don't know." So, but no, yeah, we do as well. I mean, just today we were in our pool room trying to make sure all that's good to go because we're trying to get our pool turned over to us. So, um, do I know what pump and what pipe goes to where? I don't, but hey, I laid eyes on it. I don't see any leaks, and I hear everything's running, so that works for me. So as long as he understands that, or he tells me like, "Hey, we're great," yeah, I have the faith in him that we're good to go. So
I think it's a big part of it though, because if you know everything that the maintenance team is working on, you know that there's a morning walk that they have to do in the mechanical spaces. You know
mm,
they got to clean up the front of the property. You know all those pieces, then you're going to understand the pull and the direction that the maintenance team is going to have to go in on a regular basis. So it
mm,
helps to then understand. Oh, they have 30 service requests and they have 10 turns that they're working on. So
mm.
it helps out a lot.
You talked earlier, Wade, about how you prioritize the time that each job should take, each work order might take. And I'm just curious how you kind of learned that. Because in a way, you're learning how to speak maintenance by doing that over time. I'm sure it's from your supervisor as well, your maintenance supervisor as well, being so close to him. Sort of how did you come to kind of get a sense of what time these jobs should take?
I mean, going and cleaning apartments myself. Like, I mean, I know I use that as an example, but I mean, I've picked up a broom and a mop before. Hey, this clean needs to get done before this move in, so I went and done it myself. But also too, like trial and error. Sometimes we don't get the best employees, and I know y'all talked, with Chris a little bit about that last month, and it's when a service tech takes a work order, it's like, well, I'm going to go do this clean real quick, and I don't see him for 2 hours. Like, that's it's really much trial and error, but also kind of doing the job yourself. One time I didn't have a service tech. I just had a service supervisor at my one of my properties, and a resident, she clogged her sink and she lost her ring down there. It was a whole mess. And I'm like, you know what? At this point, I've done it before. I'm gonna go do it. So yeah, no, I went to the apartment, and the little pipe that goes down and it goes up and this and that. I just unscrewed it, emptied it out, put it up, and then screwed it all back in. I'm like, it works. We're great. So I mean, it didn't take somebody to go in. It didn't take 30 minutes or an hour to do that. It was a simple, just like, hey, let's get this clog undone. So a little bit of trial and error, but also too, yeah, you have honest service supervisors that have conversations with you, like, hey, like, this AC is going to take me about an hour or however long it's going to take, but hey, this clog right here, I'm going to go in there for 5 minutes, we'll get it done. So
But like we're talking about, it's important to make sure that the expectation is clear. You know, it maintenance tech can go in an apartment and change out one part, and it starts to cool down, and they can say, okay, we're done, and move off to the next service
mhm.
request. But to just take a couple more seconds to wait for a little bit longer, just to verify and make sure that that was the true fix. I've had maintenance employees, they go in an apartment and they fix one thing and they think that that's all the issue, and then they run off, and then the resident comes home from work, and like you said,
Yes,
it's
we
our
do.
reputation, and
Yeah.
now it's still broken, so they don't care that we tried
Yeah.
one thing.
Yeah, no, that's a great example too, and that's what I love about my service supervisor. We've had a couple of AC things go on here, nothing crazy, but he says it all the time. Is like, hey, I fixed this issue, and then I turned the AC like super low, and then about an hour later, I went in and checked on it, and again, and hey, the AC's cooling, so I fixed the AC. We're all good to go. So it is about that follow up. It is making sure that the job, and again, it's doing things the right way the first time. Because if you do it, and you don't have to go back every time, and then two, some I have seen in the past where people do speed through or they don't do their best job on it, and then a couple days later they're behind on work orders now because the same jobs they did 2 days before are now back in their bucket, and they're having to go back to those apartments. So just taking the time to ensure that the quality is there is going to just save you in the long run.
Yeah. So to answer our question, what does good work look like? I think you have to utilize your Kingsley scores. You have to utilize your surveys from your residents if they call in. If you don't have, if you're not using Kingsley, if you're a property management company and you rely on emails, right? It's you're looking at that response and that communication from the residents saying, "Hey, everything's fine with my apartment. I really appreciate everything you're doing." That should be the temperature gauge to be able to figure out if your maintenance team is working efficiently and they're doing the right quality work versus
And
just trying to speed through and get things done as quickly as possible.
yeah, and it's also following up the residents. Here as well as like when a work order gets closed out, we try our best to call the residents back, be like, "Hey, is everything good?" Because obviously, again, here in a little bit, they're going to get that survey when the work order gets closed out. So it's also putting face to the name, giving them a call, especially on things that are major. Like if we do have a small leak or if we do have some AC issues, like it's just keeping in constant communication with the resident to ensure that they are happy. And I think that's also another piece of the satisfaction puzzle, right? Like, yeah, we're here to do a job, but also too, we want people to love where they live. We want people to stay. We want to retain that retention, and doing that's going to be, first off is making sure they love the office team. That's why they sign the lease, but also too, to get them to stay is going to be through your maintenance team. It's going to be how well they're taken care of. And if you don't set those expectations very early on, then obviously, people are going to leave, and it's about how they're taken care of after they move in that matters.
Sure. I've walked some offices in the past and seen they take surveys, good 5-star surveys, and they print them and put them up on a bulletin board. And sometimes maintenance employees, they don't check their emails, or they're not, they don't have as much time to spend on digging into Kingsley and seeing what's going on. So I think it's amazing to see when office teams post those things, and we can be able to give the recognition, but also be able to reinforce the behaviors that are going to make us successful. So.
Yeah, for sure. And even like what we do a little cute thing here too. So we get little bags of popcorn and we write on there, like we do like little printouts, like little survey cards. And it's like, "Hey, we popped in. How do we do? Tell us how everything went." So even also to making those little efforts, and when they see their name pop up on something like that, that they feel good about their job as well. So
That's great. Becca, I don't know if you have any questions or anything came up on our live
No,
stream.
no, but we will have another episode of How to Speak Maintenance on August 26th of the next month, the fourth Wednesday of the month at 12:15. So we hope you will join us again then.
Thank you for your time, Wade. I really
yeah, of
appreciate you
course.
and your insight, and it's going to really help our listeners to better understand exactly how we can be able to make sure our teams know what good work looks like. So thanks for your time.
Yeah, of course. Thank you all so much.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time.